Let's now welcome to the ring, Kevin Nicolas Espindola.
Well, Kevin Espindola accepted this fight against a world title challenger on just a few days' notice, but no odds seem insurmountable for a man who is a literal walking medical miracle. In December of 2021, Espindola was placed in a coma where he remained for several days, but 4 months later, he was back in the ring, scoring a 4-round decision win over Fabio Palacios. Espindola was a good amateur back home in Argentina and has proven to be a durable test for heavyweight prospects like Ivan Dichko and Moses Atauma. And just to reaffirm his fearlessness, will face an even bigger, more seasoned contender here tonight.
And now let's welcome to the ring, Richard, the Midnight Train, Riakphore.
Well, much like his opponent tonight, Richard Riakphore's own medical miracle has been well publicized. The story of a stabbing survivor who used the incident to recalibrate his route in life through university academics, fashion modeling, and of course boxing. Riakphore came agonizingly close to winning a cruiserweight title in a rematch against Chris Billum-Smith last year, but felt that with or without a title, his time melting down to cruiserweight had run its course. That is not a thesis that he'll have to defend, as Riakphore showed up to the weigh-in yesterday seemingly with 30 extra pounds of muscle, as towering and shredded as ever, as he hopes to follow in the footsteps of one of his heroes, Evander Holyfield, finding glory at heavyweight after a stay at cruiser.
You know, that is a huge jump up in weight, going from the 200-pound weight class to 235. Clearly, Richard Riakphore has outgrown the division. He has a chance because of his nationality. A lot of great heavyweights over in the UK to put himself in the title picture very quickly.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 8 rounds in the heavyweight division. Brought to you by Riot Season and the General Entertainment Authority GIA, with Frank Warren for Queensberry, Canelo Promotions, Agone Sports and Events, and Sella, along with their great sponsors, Riot Season, STA, STC, Dr. Suleiman El Habib Medical Group, and Arena Fitness Innovation. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, Steward in Charge Guy Williamson. When the bell rings, our referee in charge and scoring this contest will be Howard Foster. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the blue corner, he comes to the ring wearing black trunks and weighed in officially at 297 pounds. Coming to us from Buenos Aires, Argentina, he brings a professional record of 9 wins, 9 defeats, with 4 of his 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kevin Nicolas Espindola. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing black trunks and weighed in officially at 235 pounds. Hailing from London, England, he has a professional record of 17 wins, just 1 defeat, 13 of his 17 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former British Cruiserweight champion and former world title challenger, Richard the Midnight Train Riakphore.
Okay guys, you both know the rules. Keep it clean, break straight away when told. Both got your heads in close. Good luck to you both. Touch gloves. Good luck.
So we are all set for the heavyweight debut of Richard Riakphore as he takes on the 9-9 Kevin Espindola, who, as we mentioned, has been used to test many a heavyweight prospect in recent years. He's got a stern physical test in front of him here tonight.
It's just remarkable looking at the size of Richard Riakphore, thinking that just last year he was effectively a career-long cruiserweight. I mean, he is a big, big heavyweight. You think of some of the other heavyweights, guys like Deontay Wilder, Alexander Usyk moving up from cruiserweight. They did not get this high. This guy's around the same weight as Emily Ajagba.
Nice left hook to the body there from Espindola. Tried to bring that left hand up top as well. Riakphore has been sparring with Martin Bakole and really getting a feel, he said, for what heavyweight shots feel like. That's a good litmus test. If you want to feel what heavyweight power feels like, get in there with Martin Bakole, who we'll see later on tonight.
You can see Espindola is not going to really try to exchange punch for punch with Riakphore. That's not how he's going to win this fight. He's going to try to explode with single shots and try to catch him off guard. If Espindola starts jabbing to the body, you could see that, you could tell that he's going to have a game plan to loop something over the top later.
Espindola holding his ground a little bit more here. Chris, you know, you and I were talking before the fight. One of the fears here for Espindola is that he does a little bit of this. He can pull kind of a Kevin Johnson type fight where he knows how to take care of himself leaning against the ropes, and he can take guys rounds, but it can get repetitive.
Yeah, it's a way to survive. It's not necessarily a way to win fights. I do like Espindola. He has kind of rocketed out of those off-the-ropes positions and landed a couple of good shots. He clearly wants to go downstairs, upstairs with that left hook, thinking he's got something against Riakphore. Interesting trunks from Espindola.
Yeah,
well.
I noticed that. I don't think they're real trunks. They're like gym shorts.
They are.
And they're tight.
Good body shot there.
But look at how Espindola comes right back, like he's waiting to attack, catch and counter. He's not gonna do it real quick, but he's gonna do it sneaky. I would love to see Riakphore throw away a jab and come up under the bottom with an uppercut. There's a wide opening. The elbows are really out from Espindola, and a wide opening for an uppercut, left or right.
He's found body shots a couple of times here in the early going, but Chris, as you pointed out, Espindola is replying here, but he's throwing something back.
Yeah, you can see that Espindola plays possum a lot. You know, he just does, it looks like he's not going to do anything, and all of a sudden he just snaps on you. See the slight little feints right there? Those are sneaky little moves right there that you know, fighters can fall for, and then they explode like that.
Right hand to the body there from Espindola, partially blocked by the elbow of Riakphore, whose first heavyweight round is now in the books. Well, look who's here. Eddie Hearn has arrived, fresh from Times Square. And now here in Riyadh, just in time to watch Richard Riakphore.
That man doesn't look like he's been in a 14-hour flight. Fresh as a daisy.
And there's Eddie Hearn sitting alongside Ben Shalom, perhaps discussing a rematch between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank. Fantastic fight we saw last week here on DAZN. I think after watching Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia do some damage to the potential of their rematch, I think that might be a little bit of an incentive to do a rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn sooner rather than later.
Well, this man, Richard Riakphore, is trying to insert himself into that very vibrant UK heavyweight picture, and obviously the global heavyweight picture at 35 years of age. Still feels as though he's in his physical prime. Wants to get into big fights as soon as possible as round two begins here, and he rips a left hand downstairs on Kevin Espindola.
Good body shots that Riakphore is landing.
Yeah, but he does it responsibly, bends his knees. You know, tall fighters that get lazy don't bend their knees and make themselves smaller. That's when shorter fighters can actually, you know, use it against them.
Espindola exploding off the ropes with an attempt at a left hook, does land a right hand to the body.
He's a little bit predictable with that attack. That's the third time he's kind of leapt forward off the ropes trying to land that left hook. Now, Riakphore had a very solid cruiserweight career, just one loss on his resume, and that was to Chris Smith his last time out. He's got some good wins on that resume as well, including a split decision win over Smith.
That was a good shot to the body. Guys like Espindola, they could take shots upstairs, they could take shots on the forearms and their elbows and shoulders, but touch them downstairs. Look at how soft that body is. Even if it's a jab. Riakphore has a long jab. You can stay safe by just stabbing them downstairs. There you go.
A good body shot there from Riakphore. That jab that you talked about, Sergio, during Riakphore's cruiserweight career, as you can imagine, he towered over most cruiserweights, and that really stiff lead jab of Riakphore's, that was his calling card. As you pointed out, he can't really show it off here because he doesn't really need to throw it defensively. He has a guy in Espindola who is just parking himself against the ropes.
Yeah, it's like a long spear, and you're really safe behind a long, sharp spear like that. As long as you're defensive and you keep alternating it, like I said, you got to go to the head, to the chest, to the body, and you got to keep repeating it. They will set up a right hand.
Well, we're seeing glimpses of it right here as Espindola starts to march forward a little bit as Riakphore able to work off the back foot, and this is really where he can shine.
He's kind of talking to Riakphore a little bit during this round.
Yeah, you can see that Espindola wants Riakphore to really throw something hard. The harder that Riakphore throws a punch, the more Espindola is going to be able to throw a harder punch himself. Catch and counter type.
I had my questions coming in if Espindola was coming here to win, if he's coming here to collect a paycheck, fighting somebody, making a move to heavyweight. Obviously, there are going to be plans for Richard Riakphore in the heavyweight division, but Espindola, so far, looks like he's here to win.
Yeah, he's looking to catch you slipping. He's not really looking to beat you down or anything like that. But if you're going to get lazy on him, yeah, he's going to catch you off guard.
That was a good move by Riakphore a moment ago. Stepping to the side, landing a body shot with the right hand.
So you've got to do variation beats these guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anytime there's a break and play, back on that stick, jab, double jab.
Yeah.
See the jab, right hook, left to the body, straight away. He's starting to breathe a wee bit heavier now, so hit the body, jab right to the body. He will try and counter with left hook, so you need to jab right to the body, hands up, okay? Hit that body more now. Next time is against the rope, right to the body, left to the body, step back, 1, 2. Okay, good variation, big man.
Variation is what Billy Nelson's asking, and he's also asking more body shots. Just touch him downstairs, back up, then you can set up that big 1-2. And there's a little angle right there. That's the shot. Those are the ones that catch tough guys off guard, and especially if you go down to the body, that's really, really clever and athletic by Riakphore, such a big man.
I think conditioning could become a factor as this fight goes on. Riakphore obviously looks like he's in fantastic shape. This is the fighting weight of Espindola. He's been fighting around 300 pounds for the last 5 or 6 fights, but I don't know. I don't think that frame is built to go a lot of distances.
No, and we've seen a couple times in this fight already, after a couple of those sort of ambushes, nice right hand there from Riakphore, Espindola then needs to take a breather and go back to this pattern.
Billy Nelson wanted variation. He just got it. Straight right hand, landed cleanly. Then he came around the guard with a right hook, went back to the jab, stepped back, and then he dug down to the body.
Clubbing right hand attempts there from Espindola. Now, Riakphore was talking about moving up to heavyweight really since 2019. He started talking about it a little more seriously last year, but really makes you think of what kind of agony he was putting himself through to get down to 200 when he's so comfortably filled out this frame as he lands another good body shot.
He has to hide that power. See, that body shot, Espindola was able to bend down and catch it with his forearm and elbow. That's how you hide it. See, it looked like he was going to go downstairs, and he caught him to the body. That hurt Espindola. Yeah, Espindola didn't like that body shot.
He is breathing heavily, and that right hand to the body made the knees of Espindola dip a little bit. You saw him hunch over.
I think Riakphore thought his glove hit the canvas, or thought he was going to go down. Clearly didn't. The referee stepped in a moment ago. I think Riakphore thought that was a knockdown.
Left hook on left to the body.
Espindola starting to show signs of withering from this body attack of Riakphore, but he sneaks in a left hook. Again, every once in a while, he'll offer something to at least make Riakphore think about what he's doing.
Yeah, but there's less and less force behind that left hook. You can see that he's withering away. Those body shots, the legs are starting to give a little bit. You can see the fatigue in Espindola's body language now.
Yeah, I think Espindola is right now looking for that one home run shot. The body work, the investment that Riakphore is making there is definitely paying off.
I can see this fight ending with a body shot. Just one single body. There it is right there. Clean shot to the body that landed. Espindola took it well, but I don't know how many more of those he can take.
Espindola protesting about one of those shots being behind the head and about one of them being low. The referee did not agree, and Riakphore wisely just kept throwing.
Yeah, Sergio, I'd love to see Riakphore double and triple up his shots there. It's mostly one punch. They're effective punches, but I'd like to see him go a couple shots to the body, see if he can make a dent there.
Well, the second event of the DAZN Queensbury partnership sees Anthony Kakache taking on Lee Wood with the IBO World Super Featherweight title on the line. That's May 10th, live here on DAZN as part of our 185+ fight nights a year.
You need to be ready. Yeah. Stop going to his left-hand side. Okay, stop going here.
Lead right hand. You can tell that caught the attention of Espindola, but look at how he alternates the different punches. Now he went to the right hook, landed cleanly on the side of the head. Those shots, they're keeping Espindola buzzed, but then it was back to the jab, popping him. Really responsible and patient is Riakphore, and he knows he has a lot of time left, plenty of rounds to go. Just keep picking and pecking, breaking down Espindola.
I find it interesting that in between rounds, Espindola has not been sitting on the stool. You'd think that a guy with that kind of frame, you'd want to take some time to sit and recover, but he has been standing between these last rounds.
You know, some big men don't like sitting down because it takes a lot of energy for them to keep getting up and down, up and down. You know, sometimes it's just easy to stand up. You train that way in the gym. You stay standing up and sparring, so you just bring that into the professional fight.
Well, speaking of the corners, Claudia Trejos is back with us. Claudia, you were in there. What's going on?
Yes, Corey. Actually, the corner is very happy with what Espindola is doing. They understand that he can take a punch, and more importantly, he understands that Riakphore is faster, longer, so they want to increase the head movement and just be able to take laterals and look for those punches to the body, especially the hooks. But he's taking a lot of punches.
And I think that speaks to the reality of what we're seeing here, Claudia, is that I think Espindola is doing about what he can do given his limitations right now and given this monstrous athlete that he has in front of him right now.
And not only that, let's not forget, it was a late arrival. They're adjusting to time and temperature.
Riakphore has put a little extra zip on the right hands thus far here in this round. I think Sergio sensing what you saw in the last round, the fatigue starting to show itself in the body language of Espindola.
Yeah, and you know what? You don't have to change anything if you Riakphore. This has been working for the last 3.5 rounds. Keep it up. Lead right hands have been landing cleanly, you know, so maybe just instead of coming in with a jab, coming in with the straight right. It's a power jab, but coming from your strong hand.
Beautiful uppercut a moment ago there from Riakphore as well. Nice body shot there from Riakphore, and that one finally does it. Down goes Espindola.
I mean, that was at least the 12th, 13th body shot landing in that spot. And if you got 45 seconds, if I'm Riakphore, I'm going straight back downstairs again.
And Espindola is going to go straight back down to the canvas once he does get touched downstairs.
Less than 40 seconds left in the round for Riakphore to close the show here.
Takes a while to regroup from body shots, man. You just don't catch your wind that fast.
Espindola getting a little bit more active here now that he has been hurt. I think realizing if he just shells up on the ropes, the same thing is going to happen. Espindola fighting his way out of trouble here. Riakphore just digging those shots to the body and just missed with a home run of a right hand. And Espindola will make it out of the round.
¿Listo? Nos salimos. Nos salimos. Escúchame, pará. No sale.
We're watching the corner of Espindola right now. He's been shaking his head, and I think this one will be waved off. Yes, it will. Richard Riakphore with the TKO victory, and the Midnight Train has pulled into the heavyweight station.
Yeah, and I think that late surge we saw from Espindola was him making one last stand after that knockdown. Those body shots, they paid off for Richard Riakphore. Solid professional debut at heavyweight for Richard Riakphore.
Solid and patient. You know, that's the main thing right here. He was taking his time. He knew he was breaking down Espindola. But look at how he got creative. He threw away a right uppercut just to land the body shot. See, that right uppercut was just getting thrown away. Just to land clean right to the liver. And those shots right there, man, Espindola took way too many of those punches to the body. They got softened up. A tough man only can take so many of those shots. Riakphore got it done.
And listen, Chris, there is a lot to like promotionally about Richard Riakphore that maybe has been underutilized at cruiserweight. You think of a guy who looks like this at heavyweight with a university background. He's an IMG model. He's friends with Madonna. You put that in the heavyweight division, there's a lot of juice.
I love the friends with Madonna cherry on top. Yeah, look, there's talent to become a top heavyweight. He's 35 years old, so the clock is ticking on Richard Riakphore. But because he's British and because there are a lot of really good British heavyweights, I think he'll get an opportunity sooner rather than later.
Don't act like you don't like Madonna.
I do like Madonna.
Well, speaking of British heavyweights and speaking of cruiserweights that moved up to heavyweight, it's official. The undisputed heavyweight championship is on the line at Wembley Stadium on July 19th as Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois meet for the second time. And on this occasion, all the belts are on the line in what promises to be another history-making night live here on DAZN. We're ready to make this one official, so to do that, we'll send it back up to Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 completed rounds of boxing, the blue corner retires their fighter, and our referee in charge, Howard Foster, accepts their retirement. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout, Richard the Midnight Train Riakphore.
So the Midnight Train, Richard Riakphore,